beautiful Earth Angel humans. Thank you for joining me on this wombful day. My heart is feeling tender and soft, and my womb is in cleansing mode. Menstruation time is when our hormones reach an all-time low, signaling our bodies to shed our uterine lining to start the process of menstruation. It is associated with the season of winter, so just like we have day and night, our menstruation time is the day, or is the time that we retreat inwards, we come into our little cocoons, and we turn into resting mode. The archetype associated with the menstrual phase is the archetype of the inner wise woman, the crone. And the themes during our menstruation are themes of surrender, letting go, resting, yin, receiving, and heightened intuition. Since I've been living in more alignment with my cycle and the natural rhythms of my body, my periods have gotten so much better, but we've definitely come a really, really long way. I used to experience period cramps that were so painful that I would sometimes pass out from the pain, or the pain would be so nauseating that I would throw up and I would just be unable to move for the first 1 to 2 days of my bleed. I remember I went to the gynecologist, and after a traumatic 10-minute session, all she could tell me was to take the pill, and I wasn't into any of the things that I'm into now, yet something in my body contracted, and I knew that there was a natural way without being dependent on the pill to heal this and to come back to balance. And so I started studying Ayurveda. I did a couple menstrual cycle alignment courses. I read so many books about womb wisdom and cyclical living. And now I've come to a point where I absolutely love my periods. I get so cocooned in this tender love bubble, and I get so much clarity as my intuition is just so much more there and connected and strong. And so I receive so much clarity on the direction that I desire to take in this new cycle. As well as I feel like it's just this time when I give myself full permission to do as little as possible. And so usually on the first 2 days of my bleed, I try to schedule nothing at all, or if that's not possible, as little as possible, to really make space to tune inwards. And I know that for a lot of women, especially if you're working, it's maybe not the easiest thing to do if you have children, if you have family. Of course, maybe taking the first full days of your bleed off is maybe not so realistic at the moment, but I just invite you to take 1% more time to yourself, just to make space to go inwards, to rest, to give your body that space to be nourished. Since your menstrual phase is a time when you are feeling extra tender and vulnerable, I hear a lot of women that experience a lot of anxiety and depression come up during their bleed. First of all, our hormones reach an all-time low, so we do feel a lot less energy moving through us. Our moods also come on a low point, and so it's quite natural to feel quite vulnerable and tender. But this may be actually triggering for people who have experienced trauma. Not only that, if you do have some resistance with surrendering, with letting go, with resting, or turning inwards, or maybe when things go a bit more quiet, it may trigger some old wounds, some old traumas, and so just be extra gentle with yourself. Invite those parts of you in, and just hold a lot of compassion and love for yourself in these tender and vulnerable moments. And so, like I said, this is a time when we are so much more connected to Source, so much more connected to our higher selves, to our intuition. And so this is a great time to make space to really tune in, tap into your higher guidance. And so it's going to give you a lot of clarity or a lot of answers to any questions or any challenges that you've been dealing with lately. And so, like I said, this is the time when the archetype of the inner wise woman, the inner crone, comes to life. And so this is a great time to connect with her, connect with your inner crone, your inner wise woman, and ask for her guidance on anything that you're looking for or any questions that you've been seeking answers to. And so if you haven't already, grab your cup of tea and join me on this wombful day of some period self-care. I feel like in a world where we're constantly taught to doing nothing is actually quite challenging. But by doing nothing, it makes space to tap into the subtle messages that we wouldn't otherwise hear or see or feel if we were doing something. And so I make space for 1 to 2 hours where I literally just lie around and listen inwards. Usually here I get flooded with answers to questions I've been asking, inspiration, ideas, visions, and so I keep a piece of paper next to me to jot down any key things that come through that I want to make sure to remember. This cheat sheet comes with my course Inner Moon Alchemy, which I'll speak about more later. According to Ayurveda, an ancient healing system that roots back in India, our menstrual phase is governed by the elements air and ether, which asks for grounding, warming, and nourishing foods to create balance. During your bleed, favor root veggies, mineral and magnesium-dense foods such as seaweed and miso, and warming foods such as stews. I'm currently wearing period underwear. When I first heard about period-proof underwear, I honestly thought it was a scam, but I couldn't be any more wrong. They definitely do not leak. They are a much more sustainable option than single-use pads, and they are so comfy. It feels like I'm just wearing regular underwear. These are from the brand Perfect Fit. They are a Bali-based startup brand working to empower women and girls to have better menstrual health through innovative period products and education on the female body. They have an incredible system of a buy one, give one, where with each purchase they give one period product for free to a woman in need. Unfortunately, there are so many places in the world where women do not have access to menstrual products, and so brands like these are so needed in this world. Not only that, reusable period underwear and reusable pads are a much more sustainable option than single-use products. I mean, imagine how many kilos of single-use pads and tampons you would accumulate in a pile in a woman's lifetime, including the packaging and the box. That's a lot. These reusable options can last up to 5 years and can be washed very, very easily. They are so, so comfy and yeah, just so incredible. Not only that, a lot of the single-use period products actually have chemicals and perfumes embedded in them that are not good for a woman's hormonal balance as well as the natural pH of the vagina, and so it disrupts our hormonal balance. And so for sure these period underwears or these reusable pads are a much more healthier option in terms of our bodies as well. However, if you do work full-time and you feel like using reusable products you're maybe just not there yet, make sure to buy, if you're gonna use single-use products, make sure to look at the label, at the ingredients, and make sure that there are no added chemicals and perfumes embedded. So lately, if you go into a more health store or organic shop, you can find like organic cotton single-use pads and tampons, and so that is definitely a much better option for your body, for your hormonal balance, and for your precious yoni. Now, another sustainable option is the moon cup. You may have heard of it before. Mine comes with a little container and it can be folded up into a compatible size. It works like a tampon, so you basically can fold it into a C shape and insert it into your yoni, and basically it collects the blood into this cup, and every time you just take it out, take out the blood, wash it well, and insert it back in. So it's like a reusable tampon. Personally, for me, on the first 2 days of my bleed, I feel like my body just doesn't want to be interfered and my yoni doesn't want anything inserted up there, especially because we're going through a process of releasing and cleansing. And also, according to Ayurveda, the energy of apana vayu, downward moving energy, is in motion. And so by inserting something upwards, you'd be kind of interfering with that process. And so usually I never use my moon cup on the first 2 days of my bleed. I don't use it so much. However, sometimes if I am on the go, it is a very easy way to make sure that you don't bleed everywhere when you're out in public. The moon cup comes in different sizes and different flexibilities depending on the brand, so you can find the one that fits your yoni the best. So yeah, the moon cup is just another sustainable and healthier option in terms of menstrual products. I feel like as a collective, there's this belief that our period blood is gross, and so we avoid touching it and smelling it at all costs. Yet it is natural, it is our nature, it is the part of us that our bodies not only grew, nourished, and sustained, but now has shed to make space for the new. And so painting with my blood has definitely been a very healing experience for me to reclaim the sacredness of my blood, but to also give space to just create for the sake of creating. I feel like as a child I would always be drawing, but as I grew older it became this thing that felt like a waste of time. So it just really gives me that space to tap into my inner child and my inner creativity. Alright loves, I think that's a wrap for now. I'm going to continue painting and just vibing out with myself and my womb and call it a day for this period self-care video. If you do wish to continue diving deeper into the power of your menstrual cycle, you are super invited to join the community of Inner Moon Alchemy of my menstrual cycle course. It is a course about deepening into your soul purpose, your soul gifts, your soul essence through the power of your menstrual cycle. And so we look at it from the point of Ayurveda, how to support the vessel, your body, the vessel of your channel, so that you may thrive on your soul's path. We look at it from the point of view of the archetypes and how they can support you on your mission. And finally, we look at it from the point of view of business, and as well as our inner codes of sensuality and tapping into our most free and alive, passionate selves. So I have Inner Moon Alchemy linked down below if you wish to join and continue learning with me about the sacred healing art of our menstrual cycle. Thank you so much for being here with me on this fine wombful day, and I hope to see you in my next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.